And now for part 2. But first, a word from our sponsors. As featured on YouTube's Captain and Cat Captain's Corner, your child or student's heart will grow with the stories in Bewitched Balloon, a sweet adventure about kindness and the gift of giving. Perfect for ages 3 to 8, it gently introduces empathy, diversity, and real-life themes like aging, disability, allergies, and caring for our environment. Kids love spotting the color-changing balloon and joining the search for Bewitched's lost cat. Comes with the magic of smile stickers, free downloadable kindness crafts and activities that will always be free in Bewitched's Kindness Creative Lab. These make learning kindness fun, doable, and easy to fit into everyday play just like any other favorite activity. Features hand-drawn illustrations created without AI. Every page is filled with warmth and originality. Join the kindness mission and see how far a single act of kindness can travel. Visit Bewitched.com, and that's BAJETTE.com, to access the book, kindness shirts, gallery, reviews, and always free activities in the Kindness Creative Lab. If you have a kindness idea or story, write to giving@Bewitched.com to win a premium edition of Bewitched Balloon. You can really tell that this book was made with a lot of love. Get Bewitched Balloon. I've been waiting patiently for this next moment.
Why?
Cordelia asks. Who died and made you Elvis? And our rendition of Elvis's Suspicious Minds in Rewatch Phases Part 1 caught us in a trap. Hee. Fans are writing their Elvis picks for us to sing. Azzy sent Love Me Tender, Love Me Dru. So, with your best Elvis, Juliet, you first. Love me tender, love me Dru. Sire Rebecca, you have a go. Come on, it's your turn, Sire Rebecca.
Okay. Love me tender, love me Dru.
Now continue alternating. All my dreams fulfilled.
All my dreams fulfilled.
For my darling,
For my darling,
I love Dru, and I love
I love you, and I love you.
All together, Re-Vamped teas too. Love me tender, love me Dru, all my dreams fulfilled. Oh my darling, I love Dru, and I always will.
And the crowd goes wild.
And the crowd throws food at us. Okay. I think it's a really lovely lyric. I love Dru and I always will. We have so many more suggestions. Don't worry. We'll get to everyone's. I don't think people are worried. But thank you, Revamptees, for writing us with these.
Yeah, thank you.
Yes, thank you. That rhymes. You're right. Revamptees for writing us with these. Lots more opportunities to get our Elvis on. Can't wait. Christine is funny when she flirts with Xander. Her transition into sexiness is seamless. This episode, Bewitched, Bothered, and Bewildered. What's that? I thought I'd try it with a little Elvis. Okay. Anyway, this episode is a teenage boy's wish, but not really. As we talked about, it becomes be careful what you wish for. I like when Christine refers to herself as Joycey, coffin talk. Like pillow talk? But you guys don't generally sleep in coffins. It's one of those coily things.
A colloquialism?
Yes, we vampires are aware of the mythos and like to reference it. Who knew? One thing I need to state for the record is rat tails? Yuck.
They are a bit big, aren't they?
I find them repulsive. Squirrels, cute with their bushy tails. Rats, not so much. The threat of Buzzy getting, to reference the king again, caught in a trap, is looming.
A rat trap, baited with cheese.
Then I come in and toss Angel away from my Xanderkins. Do you think Angel was gonna kill him or turn him?
I think he was going to torture him, thus torturing Buffy. He loves psychological warfare.
Yeah, torture him and then turn him because it would be the worst for Buffy.
Absolutely.
Don't fret, kitten. You're consoling Buffy? No, I'm saying what I say to Pookie.
Pookie?
There are interesting language choices which mirror throughout the episode. Earlier, Spike suggested Angel rip Buffy's lungs out to make an impression. Angel says it lacks poetry. And I say to Xander, your face is a poem. I can read it. This also underscores obsession versus love. Poetry should be a thing of love, but here it is in the context of violence. Poetry and potion. Alas, I don't get to sire him. The mob comes in, and there are quite a few axes now. I protect Xander, but due to the fervent masses, we get separated. The lunch lady is having a good time.
Cordelia saves him.
I burst down the kitchen door, but I've not been invited in. The rest of the love-stricken go in. My dance background came in handy with the movement I do to show the barrier.
There's the slightest moment where you think you're going to walk right in.
I wish. The episode does reinforce the hysterical woman stereotype, but it also shows a man being objectified by women as a nightmare. He is in the position of fearing for his life and his autonomy. There's lots of intercutting between Oz and Buffy rat near the trap, Amy and Giles in the library doing the spell, and the mob attacking the basement door. Xander and Cordy are pretty familiar with that basement because of their run-in with the Bugman. Buffy's hair flip reveal when the spell reversal works is great.
It reminds me of Rita Hayworth's iconic hair flip in Gilda.
Another one who stole my fashion tips. Okay, Gilda, yeah, that is amazing. Nothing like an iconic hair toss.
Absolutely.
Lunch Lady's weapon is a rolling pin. It's funny, but a rolling pin can do real damage.
Yes, it can.
Yeah. Alas, the heart necklace does the trick. At school, Harmony's excited to be the third choice of a jerk who treats her badly, and then she's rude again to Xander. But yay! Cordelia has a great speech standing up to Harmony. Cordy gets back together with Xander. Cordelia learns to reject shame and embrace herself. Xander learns to reject fantasy and embrace reality. It's touching the way they play it.
I love how Xander and Cordelia's wardrobe have the same color combination. It signifies that they are a couple, and it loops back to when Harmony asks in the beginning if they have matching outfits.
Yep, it bookends the top of the episode. Aside from Midsummer Night's Dream, an early appearance of love magic appears in Little Women, when the March sisters perform a play written by Jo featuring a love potion titled The Witch's Curse, an Operatic Tragedy. The Monkey's Paw by W. W. Jacobs explores the Be Careful What You Wish For theme and has been adapted into many plays, films, TV series, operas, and comics. The John Collier short story The Chaser was first published in The New Yorker in 1940 and later in his collection Fancies and Good Nights. Love that title. It was adapted into a Twilight Zone episode in 1960. There was an episode of Bewitched where a love potion ends up in the clam dip at the Stevens party. The 1990s brought us Hocus Pocus, The Craft, the WB series Charmed, and Harry Potter. In the Harry Potter series, Lord Voldemort is the product of parents who were bonded by a love potion. The 7 books were published between 1997 and 2007. The 8 films were released between 2001 and 2011. There are also streaming series, spin-offs, and specials, as well as Audible versions.
Sandra Bullock starred in 1992's Love Potion No. 9. and 1998's Practical Magic. In Mighty Morphin Power Rangers TV series, villainous Rita Repulsa gives Lord Zed a love potion. Nicole Kidman starred in a Bewitched film in 2005. There's My Little Pony, Friendship is Magic animated series.
As far as novels, there's The Chocolate Kiss by Laura Florand, which explores love and magic with a focus on sensuous food magic. Burned by Magic by Jasmine Walt, and A Taste of Her Own Medicine by Tasha L. Harrison. There are romantic fantasy and mysteries like The X-Hex by Erin Sterling, Go Hex Yourself by Jessica Clare, and This Spells Love by Kate Robb. For a fantasy rom-com vibe, there's That Time I Got Drunk and Yeeted a Love Potion at a Werewolf by Kimberly Lemming.
Nonfiction spellbooks include The Practical Witch's Love Spellbook by Caradwyn Greenleaf, A Guide to Spells for Passion and Romance. Contains rituals for attracting love and nurturing relationships. Love Spells, an enchanting spellbook of potions and rituals by Minerva Radcliffe.
Hey Drew, did the mail come today? I'm expecting a package from my friend Alex at Magic Oil Box. He's sending me the Chosen Roller Blend. It's to give me strength, clarity, and legacy. He says it'll give me spiritual grounding and emotional clarity. I don't like this at all. How dare this Alex interfere with the perfect balance of our relationship, giving you ideas above your station? This could be very damaging for you as a minion. I'm not a minion, and I think it's to develop my inner slayer. I need to use it when I meditate. It'll help me reclaim my power. Outrageous. I have to pay a visit to this unruly young man. Wait, he has other blends you may approve of. Batty Baron, Carry Hand Sanitizer, Bloody Vanity Roller Blend. He's a big fan of yours. He says you have the best ideas. I think there might be hope for the scallywag. Mistakes can occur after all. Even I, and I don't want to shock you, may have, in extremely rare moments, potentially been less than perfect. Maybe. Almost. I'm impressed. You're sharing the more human side of yourself. Let's not get carried away, dear simple minion. So, the link is themagicoilbox.com. You can find the chosen one yourself on the website, or the direct link is themagicoilbox.com/products/the-chosen-BTVS. Every Slayer deserves a little ritual power boost. Do you not think you should create a special blend for me? I guess. Hey, Drew, what's that lovely smell? Is that my new chosen roller blend? So nice of Alex to send it to me. Hey. Bewitched, Bothered, and Bewildered is a metaphor for the toxic nature of high school popularity and mob mentality. It delves into individualism versus groupthink and social pressure. Cordelia is forced to choose between her popularity, groupthink, and her genuine feelings, individualism. The spell-affected gang also personify groupthink, as does Cordy's clique, both when dissing Xander and when advocating for him.
I know we all can look back on our lives, and if a friend of ours really liked a band or a guy or a girl, it was easier to just go along and say, yeah, because somehow we could understand their interest in them in the first place, even when it wasn't something that we necessarily agreed with.
And at certain ages, you really do want to fit in and feel like you are connecting, so you're afraid to rock that boat more than as you get older and you realize you can have differing opinions and still be close.
Yeah, I think we also stand back and really learn how we like things. by discussing them with other people. We might think we like a certain type of food, but only in discussion do we understand why we like it or maybe why we don't actually.
Another thing is that Cordelia makes the choice of her own volition. She's not coerced. She's not under a spell. As I mentioned in part 1, a major theme in this episode is coercion versus consent. Buffy does refer to it as Xander having invoked the great roofie spirit. She then goes on to give Xander kudos for not taking advantage of her. Xander parries with an affirmation followed by a joke. It says a lot about society's views on sex and consent that a man gets praise for not raping a girl and then is able to joke about how he might have. Imagine if we lived in a culture where a man not taking advantage of a woman in a vulnerable state was considered normal, not something to call out, while a man choosing to take advantage would be unheard of, not normalized. That would be a great world, wouldn't it?
You know, it's one of those things that will honestly keep me up tonight just thinking about.
That's one of the things with the episodes is they bring up deeper themes and deeper issues that are important for us to look at. We also see maturation as a theme. Cordy matures and individuates. Xander also matures through the circumstances. He wants to earn affection and not manipulate it. Of course, this is an overarching theme of the entire series, as it is with any coming-of-age story. One of the things is that Cordy and Xander's relationship was secretive for a long time, and even with Willow finding out, it has not been good for their self-esteem. By the end of... What's that? Abbreviated title with a little Elvis the pelvis thrown in. Okay. They are being authentic and they are expressing their feelings. So the bad mojo has been, to some extent, cleansed, but not by the spell, by them choosing one another and communicating as Willow and Oz did last episode. My friend who's gay said that Cordelia declaring that she'll date whoever she likes, regardless of what others think, resonated with him and his high school experience of coming out. Like phases, this episode closes for the second time in a row on a happy couple. 2 Scooby duos. What? No, Scooby duos, not Scooby Dru. Duo what? How about a duo over? Magically, that was funny. Hee. Xander and Cordy are happy in the wake of the demise of Angel and Buffy's love story, and there's a bit of a fissure forming in Dru and Spike's relationship. It seems as if the next episode, Passion, especially with a title like that, will reunite Giles and Jenny. But, well, we'll get there soon enough. In Lover's Walk, Xander's bad luck with spells is referred to.
In Once More with Feeling, Xander causes trouble using magic.
That he does. So the themes are consent versus coercion, love versus obsession, individualism versus groupthink, social pressure, rejection and ego, growing up, how consequences lead to learning and maturing. What do you relate to most?
I think real love versus obsession.
In what way?
When we think about our first real love, a lot of times it's not actually based out of truly knowing the person and more focused on the idea of the person.
A fantasy of them.
Yeah, and that leads to more an obsessive thinking, writing their name down in a notebook over and over again, putting your names together, circling their picture in their yearbook, all of that. Those aren't the actions of real love. That's just obsession.
I did that writing over and over and over and over. Yeah. Have you ever tried a spell?
I have, and it was a love spell.
Oh, do tell.
This taught me to be careful what you wish for. I was my late teens, early 20s. I decided to write down all the things that I was looking for in a partner. And I went into so much detail. But in the end, I didn't write down the things that I thought were obvious.
Oh, and important.
Yeah. So I wrote down the person that I hoped to meet and fall in love with. And it was things like, have a job, be kind, be intelligent. But I also wrote things like He would be more interested in putting his work first before me. I didn't want to be the center of someone's world because I thought about, again, the bad side of that kind of obsessive focus. So I actually got everything that I asked for.
So wait, back up for one quick thing. What was the spell? How did you go about doing the spell?
Well, I had read somewhere that to make a list and to make it as clear as possible. And then once you were done, you were supposed to fold it up and bury it in the yard. I forget what phase of the moon underneath. So I did that. And I spent like a couple of days just like filling in all the little things that I thought, even
want
down
for-
to saying, like, please don't have a criminal record, things like that. But I left out things like someone who was faithful, someone who was supportive. I just figured those things were a given. And so I got exactly that years later. And everything that I had asked for were all the things that I was given. And everything that I left out were the very things that he was missing.
And this was much later than when you were 18 that you met?
Only a couple of years later, I met him.
Wow. So were you in high school when you did that?
It was like end of high school, right before college. So I was hopeful for the future of meeting the right person when I went off to school.
But it's interesting, even if it's not a spell, to be really clear in your intention on things.
Absolutely.
The things that you left out that you thought were obvious were actually things that are so critical and important. I can relate to yearning for a different role in high school. I would have wanted to experience how the other half lived, but not if it was permanent. So I might have wanted to cast a spell, which would last and encompass only 1 week. I'd have been popular, maybe a blonde hourglass type rather than my ballerina type, just to see how it felt, to see what it was like to have all the kids pay attention to me, to look up to me, but only for a limited time. Later, I appreciated looking like a dancer, and I became glad that I moved to my own drummer, that I don't conform. But back then, I was not shown what love truly was at home, and I was very insecure. Although we know from every story of this ilk, including Bewitched, Bothered, and Bewildered, yes, that it never turns out well to do a spell. And even what you just said, sorry, Rebecca, so perhaps even a week would have been way too fraught.
Well, I think it always ends up in like how you word it. A week might be the length of a week where you're thinking of here, and maybe the spell decides like, no, it's the length of a week on another planet. So it could have been like
Right.
totally,
Your whole life.
totally in a different direction.
Yeah, it's funny, that whole thing with intention, because I like to write goals out every year, and not just the goals, but think about every possible way I can actively make them happen and all the steps that it would take to get from A if the goal is Z, like how many things it would take to get there. And the year I booked Buffy, I literally wrote, I want to get a role I can sink my teeth into. And I thought, oh my gosh, I got to be careful with this one. Going forward, I really have to think about the words I'm choosing.
I was looking at an article the other day and it was talking about, vision boards are out. It's all about action boards. And I thought that was really interesting because it was saying how a vision board gives you an idea, a mood, a general direction, but an action board really builds the steps in order to make those visions come true.
To do it, what to do. That's a great distinction. I love it.
Yeah, that's everything you were just saying.
What is the line of dialogue that you would get as a tattoo from Bewitched, Bothered, and Bewildered? Right, thanks, Drew.
It would be when Buffy is turned back from a rat. She looks at Oz and says,
I seem to be having a slight case of nudity here.
I picked that one too. It's such a great one.
It is.
My other ones are when Buffy says about Cordelia.
I'm glad that you guys are getting along. Almost really.
When Giles asks Buffy, might I have a word? And she says,
Have a sentence even.
After Amy has turned Buffy into a rat and starts a spell on Jenny and Xander and says,
What the heck it's it?
mine are,
Don't fret, kitten.
and
Your face is a poem. Oh, I can read it.
of course they are.
Let's get ready to Buffy!
If you want to be considered as a contender for this season's trivia battle, please email revampedpod@gmail.com. Yes, be sure to include your name, where you weigh in with your number of watch-throughs, where you're located, something interesting about you, or something you think would be good to share, and
Your social media handles.
Enough for something extremely different.
Different.
when I was 21, I went to this huge, swanky dinner party. There were all these tables out on the lawn of this beautiful, white, Georgian-style mansion. I had a little card with my table assignment, and when I got to the table, I go to take a seat, and I see that Muhammad Ali is seated in the chair next to mine. I couldn't believe it. It was after he had retired and he had been diagnosed with Parkinson's from boxing, so he wasn't as quick-witted as the man I had seen on TV, but he was absolutely amazing. When I sat down, he smiled, and he asked his wife, "Who is this pretty girl I get to talk to?" And it was so sweet, not at all lascivious or lecherous, just innocent and cute. I introduced myself to them and proceeded to have the best time talking with them all night. Float like a butterfly, sting like a vampire. It's a bee, but a floaty vampire is a better description of me. True. It's funny how you remember sensorial things like the smell in the air, the taste of wine, the white lace shirt I was wearing. It was a bit like a Victorian shirtwaist. Copycat. Do you know about Muhammad Ali's 30-year breakdown?
Oh, tell me.
He had a great theory. In the 1970s, he broke down the next 30 years of his life, spanning ages 35 to 65, estimating that 9 years would be spent sleeping, 4 years traveling, and 3 years on entertainment like watching TV. He calculated that out of 30 years, only about 16 years are truly active or productive. He talked about purpose over quantity, and that because life is short, it should be filled with purpose. It's so useful and crazy to think that we sleep that much, and 3 years on entertainment and TV. It's wild. I never thought to break that stuff down. How about you?
I can honestly say I probably spend more than 3 years on entertainment and definitely less on sleep.
He also adapted his fighting style in a way that's another great lesson for life. In his 20s, he relied on speed, dancing movement, and training as a quote-unquote lightweight in a heavyweight's body. After his forced 3.5-year exile, and as he entered his 30s, he knew he had to change his training to focus on endurance, defensive slipping, and building toughness to absorb punishment against the ropes rather than relying on constant, fast movement. The Rumble in the Jungle was a historic heavyweight boxing championship match in which 32-year-old Muhammad Ali knocked out 25-year-old champion George Foreman in the 8th round using the rope-a-dope. Ali also adapted his mental training, using more psychological warfare to intimidate his opponents. One of his mantras was, "If my mind can conceive it and my heart can believe it, then I can achieve it." This was central to his self-belief. I think I need to say that one every day.
That's a good one.
If my mind can conceive it and my heart can believe it, then I can achieve it. True. Otherwise, I would not be an intergalactic super-duper podcast sensation. Okay. Ali applied the philosophy that suffering now with intense training would bring future success. Another thing he did was change his training environment by building a secluded discipline training camp at Deer Lake, Pennsylvania, moving away from the city distractions of his earlier career. He would also train under extreme conditions like heat and humidity to ensure his body was prepared for new challenges. Ali was the master of adapting. These things translate outside of the boxing ring. They are fantastic life lessons.
Somebody that I got to spend unexpected time with, and also just in general, an unexpected person. When I was 7 years old, my mom took me to a cocktail party, and someone came up to me and asked me to take a picture with my grandpa. I looked at the man and I thought, oh, she's going to feel like a fool later when she realizes that this man isn't my grandfather. Little did I know that he actually was.
What?
Yeah. So I had grown up knowing my step grandfather as my grandpa, and nobody had said differently. So when I told my mother this later, she said, well, of course that was your grandfather. And I realized then, and it happened a lot over the years later, there was always an assumption that you somehow just knew things.
Oh.
A lot of times things weren't discussed for different reasons. It was just implied that you were supposed to have magically figured this out already. So he didn't act like a traditional grandpa. He acted like a musician. So you would see him on occasion and not hear from him for great stretches of time. But there was a point in his life after I'd gone to film school where he asked me to come on the road with him and to tape him. So at first I thought I wasn't terribly interested in doing it, but I know my mom was excited, so I got my gear together and we started out with concerts in Brooklyn, and then I would sit and ask him questions, and a lot of the questions I asked him were things that typically aren't asked, more on his feelings on different things and looking back on his life and things he would change. And in the process, I got to understand who he was as a person a lot more. And we went from being sort of granddaughter, grandfather to being peers in a way. And the traveling continued. I went to Japan and France and Morocco and got to see how the different countries, how different the audiences would respond.
Wow.
And also just how the music changed depending on where he was and how he was feeling, playing the same song, but it having a completely different vibe to it altogether.
Is that the trip where you had that transcendent experience that you had talked about another time in terms of
Yeah.
performing?
The same song that everybody was sitting in silence to in Japan, there was a party in Paris. And he just had the ability to pull everybody in and make them feel very welcomed without having to say anything. And then he would sort of sit back, removed from everybody, and just let people meet each other and share ideas. So he'd set a place for everyone to be seen and heard, and then take himself out of the equation.
Sounds like you learned a lot from him in that whole trip.
I did. We had a very complicated relationship, but I can honestly say that those trips were the making of our relationship.
Well, an auspicious beginning to it, being at a party, someone saying that's your grandpa, you saying that's not my grandpa, and then finding out, lo and behold, it was your grandpa, is a pretty crazy experience to have.
I know. I could feel my mom wincing at me retelling that, but I think the truth is a lot more interesting and worthwhile of knowing.
Absolutely. Oh my gosh. That's an amazing story, Rebecca. Thank you so much for sharing that.
Absolutely my pleasure.
Testing 1 2 3. Testing 1 2 3. One of a kind handmade concept jewelry from Eternal Craft is anchored in Gothic elegance. What are you doing? Oh, this is lovely. Oh, I want it. Where did you get it from? Drew, I was recording. You can't just walk in the middle of a session. Did you not see the red light? I thought it meant stop in and say hello. Anyway, Jennifer makes them with semi-precious stones and strong, powerful crystals. Ooh, I'm having a vision. These pieces are designed with their own unique identity, inspired by mythology, mysticism, art, music, and literature. Every piece is iconic, like me. Drew melody as always, but I have to agree with you about the jewelry. Minion Juliet, look in my eyes. No, stop trying to hypnotize me. It'll never work. They in May. Yes, mistress. Bring your credit card. Go to eternalcraft.org and buy me 2 of everything. Yes, mistress. I love recording sessions. Interview with the vampire. This evening's vampire question. Yes, mister.
What are your thoughts on vampires without fangs, as in movies like Byzantium or Twilight?
Ridiculous. All bark and no bite. Obviously, creatively, all kinds of things can work, especially in fantasy, but I have to say, I think fangs are a big part of the lore. Although, as an actress, they can be daunting. The Buffy teeth were bulky, so I took them home and practiced with them. Many a cohort like Kristen Bauer and Mariana Clavino from True Blood and Gary Oldman, Dracula himself, have talked with me about the perils of speaking with vampire teeth. Although I did a project a couple years ago and the teeth were made differently. They just slid over the canines. They were light and they were wonderful and much less lisp-inducing. What are you doing? Drew, I don't know how to make you understand that hiding and popping out Pika-Drew as per Carla. Yes, but it doesn't translate to audio.
It drives me nuts.
Me too.
The missing scene that could have been in this week's episode.
Xander's face poem. Sweet and young and always quippy. You do not look like a hippie. Your eyes are full of searching wonder. Your cheeks and lips fill me with hunger. Your lashes flit, your nostrils flare. Your pupils swell with a fearful stare. Your features sing that you're my mister. All they do is whisper, whisper. I am Xander, you're my Drew. My thoughts consumed with only you. Take me, make me, be my sire. Forever Valentine's vampire. Re-Vampedies, please correspond with me on our Patreon page, Re-Vamped with Juliet Landau, Twitter @JulietLandau, on Instagram @Juliet_Landau, and on the Fans of Juliet Landau Facebook group or Juliet Landau official Facebook page.
Until we meet again.
Yes. See you next time when we do it again. Do it again. And until then, rewatch, revamp, reinvent, and be remarkable you. Not now, Drew. You're being like Darren. I'm not like Darren. I'm Samantha all the way. Well, no. It should be, well,